TV Spotlight. Drop the Dead Donkey. Drop the Dead Donkey is the name of a British situation comedy series that ran for 6 seasons from 1990 to 1998, amassing a total of 65 episodes. The series centred on Globelink News, a once halfway respectable news organisation that is bought out by Sir Royston Merchant, a notorious media mogul who immediately sends the place completely down market and sensationalist. Globelink News is staffed by a motley assortment of characters, headed by editor George Dent, played by Jeff Rawle. George is a perpetually harassed hypochondriac whose inability to control his staff is matched only by his inability to control his home life. Second in command is Alex Pates, otherwise known as Sarcasm in a Skirt. Deputy sub-editor and general dog's body is Dave Charnley, played by Neil Pearson. Dave is a perpetual womanizer whose gambling addiction is almost as serious as his addiction to sleeping with other men's wives. The on-air talent is led by Henry Davenport, played by the legendary David Swift. A once respectable journalist, Henry is heading towards retirement, but cannot accept the fact that the glory days of his youth are long behind him. Sitting next to him, much to his chagrin, is Sally Smedley, a former breakfast TV presenter hired solely for her looks by Sir Royston Merchant, who has all the brains of somebody with no brains. The station's roving reporter is Damien Day, played by Stephen Tompkinson, an obsessive sociopath who lives purely for his work and who is willing to do anything to get the shot or the story, even if it means making the whole thing up himself. Presiding over the new-look Globelink News is Gus Hedges, played by Robert Duncan, appointed by Sir Royston to ensure that the staff toes his editorial line. In Season 2, this crew is joined by Joey Merriweather, played by Susanna Doyle, a vicious secretary who hates her job and pretty much everybody and everything else, and who is quite possibly psychopathic. In Season 3, Alex is replaced by Helen Cooper, played by Ingrid Lacey. Helen is a closeted lesbian whose professional competence is only matched by the train wreck of her personal life. The series was a huge hit for British broadcaster Channel 4 and amassed a number of awards in its run, including Best Comedy at the 1994 BAFTA Awards, Best New Comedy in 1990 at the British Comedy Awards, Best Channel 4 Comedy in 1991, and Best Channel 4 Sitcom in 1994. The series also won an International Emmy Award in 1993. When the series began, much play was made of the programme's topicality, which included last-minute references to topical events taking place in the news, which would be discussed and probably mocked by the central characters. However, this aspect was relatively played down for following the first season. While some of these references have obviously dated and are occasionally even incomprehensible to modern viewers, it doesn't really affect the series as a whole, as they are a fairly minor part of the overall experience. The series is primarily focused on its characters, which in true British sitcom tradition are generally pathetic, hugely flawed, and in many cases deeply misanthropic individuals who you just can't help but love anyway. I am a huge fan of Drop the Dead Donkey. I fell in love with the series pretty much from its first episode, which was broadcast in 1990. Good God, that's 30 years ago. I'm old. Please make it stop. I still remember watching the first episode with one of my older brothers and both of us laughing our ass off at it. And I've been a huge fan of it since, and thanks to VHS and DVD releases, it remains a regular part of my television schedule. I love Drop the Dead Donkey, and there is no way I'm giving it anything less than a full-on A+.